How am I getting all of this into this? Stay tuned. Welcome back, adventure fans, to this June Campfire Coffee Chat. This is my coffee for the day. Today I'm drinking Cabin Fever's coffee. They are out of Nanaimo. They do make these lovely little coffee pads. I will show a little bit of that B-roll footage from making coffee this morning. They're awesome little pour-overs that are meant 100% for camping. So this morning I was drinking the Morning Glory, which is their light roast. Angela was drinking both their medium and their dark roast, which is the Sitka, and the Wild Pacific is their dark. I like their dark. Would be the first time that I've mentioned that dark coffee is the best coffee. So cheers to you. Cheers to me. Cheers to Angela, who came on this here hike. And let's just jump into it. So, learning how to pack your pack is a huge part of backcountry. And it changes every time. Obviously, depending on what you're doing, how much food you're bringing, how long you're staying out, everything changes all the time. But some things kind of stay the same. And one of the first things that I learned was unpacking to pack. So I stopped using certain sacks. So as you can see, my tent is kind of loose. It's not in its actual tent sack. I just found it took up too much room and wasn't giving me enough space to put anything else around it. So we're gonna start with the sleeping bag and the sleeping mat. Those are the first two things that I put in. Your lightest thing should be on the kind of the very bottom of your pack. So for me, it is my sleeping pad and my blanket. So I start with the pad and I kind of just line the back portion of this pocket. My backpack actually has a separate compartment just for the sleeping bag. It's kind of nice. So let's get started there. I find folded for this works better than rolled, and it just goes into that bottom pack and it creates the backing for everything else. And then the sleeping bag. She just gets stuffed in there. Making sure that you're shoving it into all the little nooks and crannies around the compartment. We have compression straps, so when we're done at the end, I'll obviously compress this all down. One of the easy ways to start everything is actually to loosen up all your straps. My pack has this nice front access portion. Not all packs have that. Sometimes I can find it's a little bit of a pain where it comes undone at the very top. So sometimes the more tubular style of bags, they definitely have a place. They're a lot easier to stuff sometimes. So in the main compartment, I already have my water bladder. I didn't take it out because I didn't want to warm up what was left of my water in this here sunshine, and it's got its own little pocket in here. And then I just kind of tie it to the metal framing up at the top. Then I'm able to run it around and out the side. Water on demand, always good. Next, I generally put in the tent fly. So again, that lighter stuff towards the bottom. Your water, which is some of your heavier, is right in line with the core in the center of your bag. Zip that up just a little bit. Now I move on to getting my foodstuffs, again some of that heavier stuff, and I'm going to put that kind of in that center portion. So with my cook kit, this is actually my larger cook kit. I do have a smaller one that I use when it's just me, but just because Angela and I were out and I was bringing all the cooking gear and we were both cooking from it, I went with my larger GSI kit. It is quite hefty. Again, if I was doing more than 1 or 2 nights out here, I probably would have changed it for something a little bit smaller just because of the extra weight that it brings. So in here I have my stove, I have my lighter. It sits in these little cups. These cups are neat in that the bottom part is a bowl, this part is an actual cup with an insulated thing. So, and as you can see, it's got like a little sippy cup lid on it. Keeps the mosquitoes out of my coffee, which I appreciate. I got my 2 spoons in here. I have my cleaning cloth, which we've been using, so it's in a Ziploc bag to just kind of, it's wet and a little bit moist, it's got food bits in it, so and I want to keep that smell down as much as possible, so it's in a Ziploc bag. And then also my fuel's in a Ziploc bag just because I don't really want it scratching up the Teflon and I like to keep them contained. So everything goes in there. It's got a nice super light lid. Be very careful, you could melt that in a sweet heartbeat. In here is also a handle that's in one of the cups that it just clips on the outside. Comes with this little wash basin that I didn't use, probably could have left at home. I like to clip it. It's got a nice clip on it and it just contains everything. So it goes in there. Don't feel bad about shoving things in there. Food goes in around it. This is what we have left of food. And again, trying to get all the air out of these pockets. These are really cheap stuff sacks. Angela actually has a really nice new woods one that she bought. So again, roll tight, but then it has a little valve down here so you're able to squish all of that air out and compress things down. I'm a big fan, might have to go pick up some of those myself. So it goes in there. My gear pick of the day. I am going to recommend this lovely little Stanley flask. So it's got a nice solid seal top, twist top, which would be a pain to fill from there, so it actually has a full sealing top, and this is where our Bailey's is for our coffee. So it's going to go in, just slide it in there. Again, it's a little bit heavier. I want it out of the way. There, feel free to get a little pushy. Next goes the tent. Using anything squishy you have. Sometimes if you need to, you can take your clothing out of the bag and put it around things. My poles go down along the side just because they're nice and long. I actually generally put those in first, but I forgot. I usually forget. Closed stuff sack. This is a spare tarp we brought just because we knew it was going to be raining last night. You can check out our Oster Lake video in the cards. You can see where we were coming in. It was a little damp. This is just my little pillow because I'm a wuss and I need to sleep with a pillow. That usually goes down in the bottom with the stuff sack. It's usually actually wrapped up in the hood of my mommy. I forgot to put it in there. This is just my little seat. She kind of goes up at the top here. I like that up at the top. Depends where you're sitting, so I don't get a wet butt sometimes. I can just sit on that. Super nice. And that is pretty much it that goes in the top of this pack. The jacket that I'm sitting on sometimes will also get stuffed in the top of here if it's super warm, which this day is looking to be nice and toasty today. I also have my shemagh, which I brought, and we also featured in our April or May Campfire Coffee Chat, in one of our Campfire Coffee Chats. Again, I'll link to that in the cards on the side, so go check that out. I'll just shove that in there wherever. Okay, that kind of leaves us with a couple more things here. These are my rain pants. These are the type of things that I want to have a lot more accessible. So for me, I actually have these super nice side pockets, so I just stuff those in there. So then that way I'm not opening up the whole pack if I need to get at my rain gear. Rain jacket on the opposite side. Perfect. So now all I have left is, this is kind of some of my 10 essentials up here in the brain. On the inside of the brain, I have my water filtration units, I have my life straws backup, I have a backup lighter, and I have some cordage. I'm also going to throw what's left of our 10 essentials in there. Zip it up. Okay. Tighten that up. This one also has a side drawstring somewhere. Here she is. It just kind of brings all of this in as well. So it sits more firmly underneath the brain and doesn't get wet. This little thing that tends to pop up, they fix that problem with that strap there and pull her tight. Flip the brain over again, making sure that you're covering all parts of the pack. And clip her in. So the top of the brain is also a separate compartment for me. This is where just because I'm a little bit different with the amount of camera gear that I want to carry. I got the camera gear up here. So all my batteries, camera stuff in here, and in she goes. This is the stuff that I tend to need access to out on the trail. Little tripod, she goes in there as well. Perfect. Water bottles, although we already drank all these, big fan of what comes in with you goes out with you. So these are going in the side pocket. Perfect. Bear spray. So Oster Lake's not exactly known for its bear problem. We were kind of laughing ourselves a little bit for bringing this, but last night, however, coyotes got a little too friendly with their tent, so definitely this was out. It may be bear spray, but I'm pretty sure the dogs wouldn't have liked it either, coyotes. So it gets strapped, easily accessible while you're actually hiking. Don't be putting this in your bag. This is something that you never know when you're gonna need it, so it should be, for me, it's always on my hip belt. These I can just shove anywhere. They're just gonna get composted when we get back. The nice thing about Cabin Fever's coffee is their packaging is even compostable. Small multi-tool. It goes in my little front hip pouch. That's where I also put my snacks, hand cream, hand sanitizer, all that stuff that I want easily accessible while I'm out on the trail. And that leaves this jacket, the GoPro that kind of just sits in and amongst my stuff. Obviously I'm still drinking this coffee, I'm just going to shove it in the lid, and that camera. If you want some more advice, tips on gear, check out our Campfire Coffee Chat in regards to the 10 essentials that you should always bring with you. We also have some other Campfire Coffee Chats on sleeping bag reviews, but I'm going to say check out the Oster Lake review right here. And until next time, go outside, find your adventure. Wet, just a little wet. There is an Angela back there, also wet.